Transformation takes time. The word transformation in the Greek is the same, it's a word metamorpho, from which we get our word metamorphosis, and that's what we talk about when we talk about a caterpillar, a worm, a lowly worm crawling around on the ground becomes a beautiful, amazing, one-of-a-kind butterfly. I don't think there could be any better analogy of what happens to the person who comes to Christ as a lowly worm with nothing but sin, and eventually they're turned in to the image of Jesus Christ. Well, you know, it's interesting about this metamorphosis, because this worm that's crawling around on the ground, when it comes time for this change to take place, and maybe some of you, you're like, I know I just need change. I don't even know what it is that I need. Well, maybe you need to surrender your life to Christ. Or maybe you have surrendered your life to Christ, but there's a lot of things in your life that you have not surrendered yet. You've taken Him as your Savior, but haven't made Him your Lord. There's a lot of areas in you that He can't fill because they're still full of you. So I believe that everybody watching today, hopefully, is going to be shown something by God that will help them grow spiritually in some area in your life. The caterpillar ultimately, when it knows that it's time for this change, crawls up a tree and gets on a branch. I've heard it said usually the backside of the branch. And they spin a cocoon around themselves, attaching themselves to the branch. And then just, it appears, if you're watching it, nothing. Nothing happens. Do you feel like that right now? Like, man, nothing is happening in my life. I've prayed. I've crawled up on my branch. I'm waiting for God to do something, and nothing is happening. But you know, if you could see inside that cocoon, you could see that a lot is happening. God's got something prepared for you, but now He has to prepare you for what He has prepared. Maybe God has some great thing for you to do in life, but you're not ready quite yet. What He has for you is prepared, but you're not prepared. Invite God to do in your life what He wants to do, and ask Him every day to cooperate with Him rather than fighting with Him. Oh, God, help me. Help me cooperate with the work that You want to do in me. I've even prayed things like, God, if You have to, tie me to Your altar so I can't get away from You no matter how bad I want to run from what You're doing in my life. And it's said that that worm completely turns into liquid, which is kind of indicative of what has to happen to us sometimes. We just have to just turn into just like, whatever You want, God. And then this butterfly begins to develop. Well, I heard a story about a man who saw this butterfly struggling in the cocoon, trying to get out. If you watch it all the way through the process, you can see the struggle as it tries to break through the cocoon. And he helped the butterfly, thought he was, by opening the cocoon before it was ready. Come on, there's a message here. I want you to get this. And you know what? The butterfly died. Don't try to rush what God's doing. Let it take all the time it needs to take, and be patient. Just enjoy where you're at on the way to where you're going. And on those days when you get very discouraged, remind yourself that even though you don't see it, you don't see any sign of it at all, God is doing a work in you.
We hope you enjoyed this teaching. To get more from Joyce, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a thing.